Welcome to the Daily Plunge. We are in the Gospel of Mark, chapter 4, verses 1 through 20. Now, Jesus goes out onto a boat, as he does a lot, because the water acts as a natural amphitheater for him, and he begins to teach the parable of the good soil, and later he will explain it. So he starts off with saying, listen, right? Hear the word. And he says that there's a farmer, and who is that farmer? That farmer is God. And he's completely in charge. And he is a crazy farmer because he's throwing his seed everywhere. He is, he's just taking no care to where he throws it, even places where it doesn't seem it's going to grow, right? And what is the seed? Well, the seed is the word. And what is ultimately the word? The word is Christ. And so this is the seed that's being planted. And then we hear that there's three soils. First, there's the hard patch, the path, and the seed falls on it and it doesn't get anywhere. And you kind of think about like confirmands who hear the faith and then walk away and you never come into a church again. And then there's the rocky ground, shallow and dried out. And we think about people who come to church a couple of times a year maybe, and when hardship really comes bearing down on them, they have no root. And so their faith is burned up and gone. And then there is the thorny ground, where it says that the worries of this world and the deceitfulness of wealth choke out the word. And think about what worries do you have that you allow to shrink the word of God in your life so that you don't trust God, but you're more focused on the worries and the fears. What fears are greater than the promise of God? And then the deceitfulness of wealth. I mean, so many people in the United States and in Europe have wandered away from the faith because they're so wealthy. If you live in the United States, you're very wealthy compared to the rest of the world. And how we think we don't need God. We're doing good. Now, you think about this, is in each one of these, who's at work here? Now, with the hard path and the rocky ground and the thorny ground, it is sin. It is the brokenness of the world that makes that soil unavailable to the seed, right? But what makes for good soil? Well, a lot of manure helps, right? But it's this farmer who tills the field. It's the farmer that works the ground. The soil does nothing. And that's the point, is that it's the word of God that grows in a person's life. But here's the thing, is that, what would your life look like if you heard and accepted the word of God? Would it flourish? Now, we're passing over something that's really critical here, and that's verses 11 and 12. And Jesus says, when I'm telling a parable, it's not meant to illumine and to manifest the gospel. It's actually meant to confuse people, because God is hidden. And people cannot understand God because what they have is out of their own brokenness, and they try to understand God on their terms. And so they don't hear the word because they want to do it on their own terms. They want to work for God. And they don't accept the word because it's about you being a creature and God being God. And so what would your life look like if you heard and accepted the word of God as Jesus as the Lord of your life? Well, thanks, friends. Have a blessed day.